If you are an ordinary, average person, you were born with 5 senses: taste, touch, smell, hearing, and sight. These 5 senses are useful to you in navigating the world around you. In fact, these 5 senses are all that you really have to navigate the world around you. God gave you these 5 senses so that you will have the best chance possible to avoid danger. He took the time to design your eyes so that you could see when a car was coming and avoid being hit. He gave you ears so that you could hear a rattlesnake and avoid being bit. He gave you a sense of smell so that you could detect smoke and avoid being burned to death in a fire that might have started inside the walls of your home. He gave you a sense of touch so that you would know when something you're touching is hot and avoid a serious injury. The taste buds he gave you allow you to avoid eating poison or food that's gone bad, avoiding terrible illness. The truth is, God knew how dangerous and precarious this world is, and that is why you were given your 5 senses, so that you could navigate the world safely. And that is something that is obviously very important to God, since your 5 senses work so well to accomplish this important task of avoiding danger. Christians will tell you that you must know God in order to make it into heaven. In fact, your very eternal soul is at stake over this belief, because if you fail to believe in God, you will wind up burning in eternal, never-consuming fire as a consequence. Christians will tell you that this is the most important thing in life, more important than everything else. But can you see God? Can you hear God with your ears? Can you detect His presence through your sense of smell? Can you reach out and touch Him to know that He is there? If you are entirely honest with yourself, you will have to answer no to all of these questions. God, if He is there, is completely undetectable with any of the 5 physical senses that He supposedly gave you in order to navigate all of reality. Christians will tell you that God is only knowable by faith, and that to try to find Him with any other means, including your physical senses, is useless. But something is wrong here. If God is so interested in helping us to avoid danger, going so far as to design complex physical senses that work so wonderfully in accomplishing this task, why, when it comes to the biggest danger we face of all, eternal fiery hell, does He suddenly expect us to abandon the 5 senses He gave us to avoid danger in the first place? Why does God so adequately equip us with powers of reasoning and logic with which to navigate reality, then expect us to abandon that wonderful tool when it matters the most? If you are honest with yourself, you will admit that this sounds completely absurd. If God truly loved you, why would He not make Himself known to you in the same way that He makes other things known to you? Christians will tell you that it is because God is pleased by your faith, and that by faith you can only approach God. But doesn't that go against everything in the physical world that He supposedly created? And doesn't it go against how He supposedly designed you to navigate through the physical world He created? The same faith that Christians say you need is used by millions of people the world over to conclude that other religions are true. Mormons use that same faith to prove that their religion is correct. So do the Muslims. The truth is, spiritual faith is an unreliable means of navigating reality. If it were reliable, most people would come to the same conclusion. Unless something has gone wrong in your physical body, you, like everyone else, will know that fire is hot, because that is what your sense of touch tells you. You, like everyone else, will know that milk is sour when it's past its date, because that is what your sense of smell will tell you. You, like everyone else, will know that a rattlesnake is nearby, because that is what your ears will tell you. If you use faith as one of your senses in order to try to find God, you will likely come to a conclusion that is in direct conflict with what millions of others have concluded. If any of your 5 physical senses had such a failure rate, you would conclude that something is wrong with you, and you would conclude that that physical sense is unreliable. So why would God give us an unreliable tool with which to detect Him? The truth is, He wouldn't. That is because God is imaginary, and spiritual faith is simply apologetics used by Christians in order to attempt to explain why there is no evidence of God whatsoever. And now you know the truth.